We've got kind of an epic show tonight, so let's jump into it. I know we're running a little late, but traffic was kind of crazy out there, so we wanted to give some stragglers some last-minute opportunities to come on in. First of all, we want to always remember to thank Progression. Is Josh or anybody from Progression here today? Okay, I'm going to stop thanking them officially because this always happens. Anyway, Progression hooks us up. They've hooked us up from the beginning. We love those guys. For those that don't know, they actually just moved into a new building down in Salt Lake, or they're about to, 257 Tower or something like that. They've got a lot of hot things going on. If you're in the marketing realm looking for a gig, check them out. Bunch of great people. Let's jump into our upcoming events. So, December 18th, we've got a members-only event, so if you would like to join us, make sure to join us. So we've got a night at the museum. So essentially, it's going to be our first and probably only event that we have on a Thursday. For those that don't know, we have our events on the third Wednesday of every month, like clockwork, except for for December. So what this is going to be is a very social event. Bring your kids out, your significant others, your mistresses. Bring them all out. You can tour the museum for free. We'll have it catered upstairs. Working on a Santa Claus. I mean, it's going to, hopefully be a lot of fun. The only thing about that is, and I'm getting rates right now, is the bodies exhibit isn't exactly included. I don't know how they have it separated, but if you want to add that in, we'll get the group rate for it. It's going to be like, I don't know, $10 extra for it or something like that. So more details to come. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope everybody shows up. Please RSVP for that one earlier or ASAP as soon as that page is up. For catering purposes, we want to make sure if you're bringing 4 or 5 people with you, you want to make sure everything's covered. So January 21st, we have an awesome speaker, potentially. Well, we always have an awesome speaker. Now, so we have a situation. I wanted to poll the audience real quick. We're going back and forth on a situation. For those that have been with us for a few months, know that we've been working Tim Ash over for a little bit. And for those that don't know who he is he's the conversion rate optimization king. I think his book is called Conversion Rate Optimization. Anyway, so we've been working him over. We're this close to coming to terms. One of the ideas we're batting back and forth is actually doing a boot camp to where it's a 4-hour deal during the day. You come out, you learn from the master himself. He gives you the live demo. He gives you the assignments. He critiques you. He helps you basically get conversion rate optimization 101. Now, I hate calling it conversion rate optimization because people go, well, we don't really offer that. Well, if you like making money on the internet, you like conversion rate optimization. If you like having people respond to your traditional media ads, you like conversion rate optimization. So come out to that one if we get it going. So if we were to pull this off, it's going to be a pretty good size ticket. It's going to be about $300. That said, this is a soft commitment. I just need to know if it's worth pursuing because it's going to cost us a little bit to put together. Would any of you be interested? Come on. All right. Yeah, that's half the audience. I am very pleased by that. Okay. More details to come. We've also got another guy from, what's the name? Wider Funnel. So January is definitely going to be a conversion rate optimization situation. And for those that don't attend the boot camp, the good news is if we go that route, Tim will also do a regular SLCSEM event that night so that you can come back out, hear his regular spiel, do a regular event that night. But during that day is when Tim will be doing the boot camp. So February 18th, we got Mel Carson, John Gagnon. Hope I'm saying that right. We've had him out before. Very entertaining. Come on out. That's going to be at the Leonardo. I'm not exactly sure what their topic du jour is going to be, but we should be good to go. So before I move on, it's one of those things where, we're in November, people are going back and forth on the, Thanksgiving and what they're grateful for and all that stuff. And I got to be honest with you. For those that aren't aware of the community we have here, it is something. I mean, you can see we got a pretty good turnout, right? We have a pretty good turnout every month. We have very engaged people. Super grateful for everybody. We wouldn't be anything without a good audience. I mean, we'd just be kind of a bunch of people in a restaurant hanging out. And I think everybody kind of gets more value when this happens. Love that we're able to get these types of speakers out here for you, but just know that we want to have an engaged community. If there's ever a chance that you want to come up and speak yourself, or you want to submit an idea that allows us to improve, reach out. President at SLCSEM.org, that's me. You know, you can reach out to anybody. All of our contact information is on the internet, and we'll be good to go. So, oh yeah, so we've got a few job opportunities. One of them is the, usually I turn it over to AJ, but he's over in Vegas right now having fun. So we've got a PPC coordinator position open at Vacation Roost. Great company. They're over there, business district by the old mill. They're looking for somebody with 1 to 2 years of experience, basically a day-to-day manager of paid search, assist with bigger campaigns. If you want more information, there's the URL. ClearLink always has a couple of spots open. Do we have any ClearLinks or Vacation Roost people here, by the way? Vacation Roost, ClearLinks? Yeah, no? I don't know. So ClearLink is looking for an SEO specialist, 2 years experience, pretty typical. This is going to be, or that's the minimum. This is for a more advanced role that they're going to be driving strategy for some of their larger clients. It sounds pretty intriguing. And then for their senior web designer, it's a little bit outside of our typical audience member, but wanted to throw it up. They're looking for somebody that's got 5+ years, and that's going to be working on some very exciting stuff. So we love ClearLink. They've got like 18 jobs right now, so if you're looking for something, go after it. So on that note, I'm actually going to, I want to step in real quick and say that this event kind of happened in spite of me. And what I mean by that is I had never heard of this dude named Marcus Sheridan, right? I'm going to admit it right now. I'd never heard of him. Dan, on the other hand, is a sexy bastard. So Doc came to me. And for those that don't know, Doc is our marketing communications director on the board. He came to me and said, look, it was a couple months ago. He goes, hey, we got this. We should ask this guy to come out and speak. And I'm like, nah, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. He's like, no, seriously. And he just kept on me. And I said, fine. He goes, go and check out this YouTube video. Go check out this thing, and then thank me later. I said, Doc, leave me alone. Leave me alone. Sure enough, he got after me. I checked it out. I said, man, I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm glad Doc pushed me on this because he's driven this thing home. I want to make sure that he gets recognition on it because he's been busting his ass. And I'm going to have him come up and introduce who our speakers are for the evening. Doc!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's event. For those who don't know me, my name is Darren Burnson, but I do go by Doc, and all my friends call me Doc, so that is you. So if you see me, please call me Doc this evening. So this event we've been trying to get together, as he'd mentioned, so since probably February. And I went out and I reached out to Marcus, and he was gracious enough to go ahead and soft pencil us in for this date. And I was really excited to get him out here because for those of you who probably don't know, I am a HubSpot guy. I'm an inbound marketer. I own an inbound marketing agency called Burnco Media. And I've seen Marcus present many times back in Boston at Inbound. I've talked to him a lot of times through social, listened to his podcast and everything. He's probably one of the most engaging guys I've ever seen. So if anybody in here has not seen him yet, I'm telling you this, even though you ate turkey, you got tryptophan going on in your bloodstream, he'll wake you up. And luckily, 3 weeks ago, I'd run into Dan from HubSpot. He is a director, and he actually oversees Utah and a couple of different areas throughout the country. And he reached out to me, and we said, hey, we've got Marcus coming in. How about you come out and talk as well? So we were stoked when he said yes. We've got 2 great presenters. This is an interactive presentation, everybody. So if you are here, be prepared to chat along with us tonight. So everybody, we're going to go ahead and start. I've got Dan Tyre, director with HubSpot. He's going to go ahead and get us started tonight.
Do I move the slides?
Yeah, I've got it for you. Is your mic on? I'm assuming.
Check, check. I got to go back. That's not the first one.
Uh-oh.
There you go. It's the first one. And then just click right there. Oh, this one right here? Boom. All right. Welcome to the Inbound Revolution. You guys have been so nice. My name is Dan Tyre. And Doc, thank you very much. Ryan, thank you very much. Chris, thank you very much. My sound man, Eric. Abby, I'm not going to pick on. All of these people in Utah, just great, great people. It's a little cold here, right? I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. I got off the plane. I called Doc, who we were having lunch, and said I didn't realize I was speaking in the Arctic Circle, right? I'm from Scottsdale, so my blood is thinned. I've lived there for 16 years. And he goes, well, where are you? I go, I'm in the airport. I can't go out. It's like 24 degrees. And I understand it gets a lot colder here, right? You guys got to be a lot more motivated than this. I got big energy. I know it's a turkey. Forget about it, though. I can see when your eyes are rolling if my jokes don't work. All right, Marcus has big energy, too. But in the next 30 minutes, I'm the warm-up act. I'm the Wallflowers to his Eric Clapton, right? I'm the Arctic Monkeys to his Phil Collins, right? And we got to get this place rolling. I'm going to talk about the inbound revolution. First of all, I'll tell you, I could talk for 3 hours at the drop of a hat. Right? So I said, can I do an hour? And they go, well, Marcus is doing this thing. I go, all right, give me 45 minutes. Well, Marcus got to get, all right, so give me 25 minutes. So you're going to, Doc, you're going to give me the cutoff, right? So I got like 29 slides. I'll get through 3 of them. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit. Oh, no. I go down tangents like you wouldn't believe, right? Utah, the people in front row, I got to warn you, Doc took me to some place called Bohemian Brewery. Anybody ever been there? Raise your hands. You like it? Okay, he ordered me a garlic burger with garlic fries with Utah sauce. Fry sauce? Fry sauce. No one else in the country. I'm 56 years old. I never heard of fry sauce. And it's steeped in garlic, right? I'm doing sales calls and meeting like presidents of companies afterwards, and I have to like put in all this mince in my mouth and stuff like stand like 10 feet away to make sure that I don't smell up the joint. But I appreciate that, and I was in New York City last week, and the big thing in New York City was there was a 300-pound man on with earphones on taking the subway naked, right? And then I didn't see that anywhere in Lehigh or Provo or Salt Lake City, so I think we're a little bit ahead of the game. All right, so I speak on Welcome the Inbound Revolution. Inbound marketing, how many people are familiar with it? Very nice, 75% of it. HubSpot, how many people are familiar with HubSpot? Oh, my heart swells with pride. How many people are HubSpot users? Okay, a handful, very good. Marcus stands up there. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. I checked with everyone. Inbound marketing and content marketing is pretty much the same thing, right? There are some really people who say, nah, their one's a subset of the other, but they're pretty synonymous for the stuff that we're talking about today. We're going to explain a little bit about me. If Marcus is the sales lion, that makes me the sales puma, right? The sales leopard, the sales cougar. Ooh, yeah, I like that, right? BYU. Cool. And we'll explain inbound marketing. Yeah, I told you, get ready, man. We'll explain why inbound marketing is so cool, and we'll explain a couple of case studies. We'll get to 5 trends, or we won't get to it. I'm not quite sure. Just one of those things. It's loud, it's fast, it's interactive. I can point to people, right? If you're like looking over at the basketball hoops or something like that, I'm going to see it, right? I'm going to talk with you. You're going to talk with me. Very interactive. I don't like to do all the work. I walk around. I'll be over here, rocking and rolling, all that kind of stuff. All right, and I'm a huge fanboy of Marcus. I've known Marcus, what do we say, 6 years, right? Not only have I known him for 6 years, he was a pioneer in the inbound revolution, right? I used to do a webinar called the Platypus Webinar, where we would do 2 webinars in 2 days. We probably put 40,000 people through the webinar. And the person that we always use as an example is Marcus, right? He was an early user of inbound marketing. He was very, very successful at it. And he gave us some great quotes. And then we speak at the Inbound Conference together, and I see him at all these kind of things. And he's a huge advocate, a very compelling speaker, and a really good guy. So I'm happy to share the stage with him. This is me, right? I'm not too flattered about that picture. A little belly flat going on there. Right? This is at Inbound. Anybody ever been to Inbound? Okay, 5 of you. Okay, you like Inbound? Pretty good? Okay, 10,000 content marketers all in one place. It's in Boston. It's in September every year. right? I happen to be employee number 6 at HubSpot. Oh, you should know I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Things happen to me that are like just unbelievable. One of them is being a member of the startup team at HubSpot when I live 2,600 miles away. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. That's why my blood is thin. HubSpot's my 5th startup. The first one went IPO. Second 2 were bought out by Microsoft. Third went bankrupt. 5th is HubSpot. And I'm a marketer a pioneer in inbound marketing. And I've been doing this for 7 years. I love it, right? Content marketing and inbound marketing. You guys are the nicest people in the world, right? Our tribe that we call, right, how many marketers are here? Almost every. CEOs. Any sales guys? Okay, a couple of sales guys. Good, all right. Not enemies, right? It's not sales, it's not marketing, it's schmarketing. You guys ever hear that term? Schmarketing? You did. Okay, I invented that term. Right, invented that term in 2007 with Mike Volpe. Getting drunk, he was drinking Glenfiddich scotch, and I was drinking beer. Right? Ooh, maybe I shouldn't say that in Utah. Can I say that in Utah? Okay, that's all right. Is there anything I shouldn't say? Should I put a Utah filter on it? All right, Abby, if like you say, no, don't do that, just let me know. Oh, I do some motivational speaking. I've been married for 25 years. I live in a purple house. I got a blind dog named Oliver. I'm a very excitable boy, right? And this is just big energy, right? This is what happens, right? You just wind me up and I can do 8 hours like this. I can do videos. I do some motivational speaking and I love it. And the great thing about this tribe, marketers, you guys are in the forefront of what's happening in the 21st century. You guys are all going to make a ton of dough. Right? Content marketing, inbound marketing is super important, and I'm going to explain it why. The inbound revolution is all about, get this, marketing is more important than sales. People believe that? How many people believe it? Raise your hand. Okay, how many people believe sales is more important than marketing? Come on, sales guy. You can put up your hand if you want. There you go. All right, I got one. All right. Okay. All right, so at HubSpot, we do this thing. We get a lot of leads. Anybody know how many leads HubSpot gets on a monthly basis? Guess? Anybody guess? White shirt. Guess. Come on, guess. Guess. How many leads? Yeah, you're the white shirt. How many? 4? No, a little more. Okay, that's good. I like that. Who said that? All right, I got to give you something. Who said that? All right, I like funny audiences. Funny audiences are good. I'm not doing all the work, Marcus. I told you that, right? And I got some good material. All right, a little bit more than 4. Right? Let's say between 40,000 and 80,000, right? That's a lot of leads. That's a lot of different businesses. That's worldwide, 70 countries. But some are really good leads, right? Businesses, B2B, B2C kind of business. Some aren't so good. So this guy, Dan Sally, I'm actually the 4th funniest Dan at HubSpot. Dan Sally used to be a stand-up comedian. This guy is unbelievable. All my best material he wrote. Then Dan Zarella. Anybody know Dan Zarella? He's a social media scientist. Right? He used to be this skinny little teenage guy, and now he's written 4 books. He's taught in 40 different universities, and he's a power lifter, so he can like lift a small Volkswagen or something like that. And he's hilarious, right? And then Dan Lyons. Anybody watch the TV show Silicon Valley? Right? He's a writer for Silicon Valley, and he's incredibly funny. And I have my moments. Right? So Dan Sally started doing this where this is how it's played. There's 2 rounds. I'm going to put up 2 prospects. One's a real prospect at HubSpot and one's not. And you have to guess which one. Okay, you guys understand how it's played? Right? You're going to guess the prospect. All right, first round. You guys have big commutes here in Utah? All right. Anybody have a 30-minute? No, Ryan, commuting isn't a big thing in Utah, kind of? All right, so this is if you have a long commute. This plays very well in New York City, very well in LA, right? And this replaces like a mayonnaise jar, I guess. I don't know. Right? Get this right there. If the kids have to go now, right? I just highlight that. Now the question is this a real lead that came through HubSpot, or is it the wave box? All right? The wave box, baby. Anybody got a wave box? Maybe I should check first. Anybody have a wave box? Wow. All right, that is for people who need a microwave in the front of their car. All right? Now, what could go wrong with a microwave in the front of your car, right? So how many people think it's the... I don't know, what did they call it here? I got to go back here. The gotta pee. How many people think that's the real lead? Okay, how many people think it's the wave box? All right, it's the first one. It's gotta pee. You guys are good. All right, you guys are good. All right, so you get how it's played. Now let's do one more. Guess the prospect number 2. All right, selfdefenseweapons.com. You can get those little stars, the twisty stars, rainbow throwing stars, or you can get blowguns, baby. Or how about fake surveillance cameras? Right? That's for, I don't know how that fits into selfdefense.com, but that's one. Or this might play in the state of Utah, custom robotic wildlife. When you really need like a little ceramic turkey going back and forth in front of your house, man. All right, so who thinks it's the selfdefense.com? All right, you guys are too good at this. Who thinks it's the robotic? It's the robotic stuff. All right, boom. All right, so guess the prospect. That's what we do. All right, this is crowdsourced question. How did you buy in 2005? Right, anybody? Yell it out. 2000. Does anybody remember 2005? Yeah, it's like, go. Catalogs, you went to the mall, retail stores, right? Some people were on Amazon, the internet was around, but you would pick up the phone and you would have to talk to a salespeople. Well, maybe I should ask the guy with the blue shirt to go. Do you people like talking to salespeople? Very good, I like that. What's your name? All right, Lance, very good, thank you. Most people don't like talking to salespeople. Why? And they're swarmy. That's right, they don't know squat, and they're sitting there going, all right, I'm going to qualify you, right? And so how do you buy in 2014? You click. Who said that? Eric and Dennis, very good. Yes, exactly right. The first thing all the studies say, I got all the studies. Believe me, I'm not just, I work for HubSpot, so it's all data and information. Oh, and by the way, if I start going down HubSpot tangents and I start doing like too much HubSpot stuff, just let me know, because this is all about inbound marketing. It's the inbound revolution. It's bigger than HubSpot, right? And this is not a commercial for HubSpot. But in 2014, what you do is you ask a trusted advisor. Although a trusted advisor today is LinkedIn, it's Facebook, it's Twitter. You see it all the time, right? Where do you buy organic dirt in Scottsdale, Arizona? Does somebody have a good CPA on that can make a recommendation? Or I need a new orthodontist or something like that. That is word of mouth. That's online now. And then the next thing you do is Google it. Why do you Google it, Dennis? Oh, Dennis, you were the man. Lady, you qualify. You want to get the only information. You want to maintain control. You don't want to talk to some swarmy salesperson that doesn't know squat. And you want reviews. You want somebody else's opinion. You want to get all the information. And guess what? That gives you all the power. Okay? It is amazing, right? You know everything about everything that you can Google. You get 1.9 million responses in a quarter of a second. Right? And it's all right there. And you can go to the first or second page. You can see all of this opinion analysis. You can see everything, and you have control. All right? What percentage of the sales process do you think most people want to go through before they talk to Lance? 57? Anybody? Other guesses? Come on in the back. You guys are in the back. Let's hear a shout out. Something? Anybody?
I think Marcus says 70.
Marcus, you say 70? All right, so the studies say it's actually between 50, I think it's 55, and in certain instances, it's 95%. You're buying a car, you're bringing in the Kelley Blue Book kind of thing, right? You're buying a house, you're going through, I want to see this one, and this one. Aberdeen says it's about 86%. And so, I'm sorry, Lance, the deal is that people like to maintain control. That means marketing is very important, because if you don't get that lead, if you're not educating people online, it's hard. All right, so anybody in the, there's only a few sales guys. Anybody cold calling? Still a $15 billion industry in North America, right? You're cold calling over there? Oh, good. Do you like cold calling? You hate it, okay? Do you think people you call like it?
Oh, no, they love it.
Exactly. And do you think you're doing a good job for your brand? Doing a good job for your brand. It is a good thing for your company? No, okay. What's your name? Cassie, you're very brave, and I appreciate you being part of the presentation. I'll give you like a HubSpot ping pong ball. All right, you're just being brutally honest. All right, anybody spend out spam emails? Right, okay, there's a couple of them out there in the back. Yeah, okay, you do it. Why do you do it? Because you're a marketer, right? What do marketers do? They take one thing and they flog the heck out of it, right? And that's the way, and that was the only thing you could do all the way up until 2007, right? And Marcus is going to show you about content marketing, which is decidedly different. Right? And the other thing is it doesn't really work. All right? Chief insiders say in an evaluation of 2013, 70% of marketers missed the mark. So we got all this detailed information that people don't like it. They don't like it doesn't achieve the right results. And this is what happens to your consumers, right? They don't want to talk with you anymore, all right? And so up until 2007, there wasn't any other way around it. But guess what? The inbound revolution is all about this. And I'm going to take 10 minutes because wherever I go, speaking on behalf of HubSpot or Inbound, we still have to explain this because this is the process of content marketing. It's very, I want to be very kind of upfront in explaining what the different pillars are so that you can leverage it effectively. The first thing is I've never met a senior manager who didn't want to get more. Oh, by the way, I'm completely social media compliant. At Dan Tyre, right? The hashtag is SLCSEM, right? Come on, let's get those cell phones out, those iPads out. Right over here. Very good. So if I forget, I can look at it. I like that, Ryan. Thank you very much. Okay. At Dan Tyre, you can hashtag this event. This is the inbound methodology. This has been refined a couple of times in the last 8 years, but it's the holy grail of how to practice inbound marketing or content marketing. The first thing you want to do is you want to attract strangers to your website. Okay? You want to get people who have no idea you exist. For most people, right, when you're doing your SEO kind of stuff, you see that the people who are finding you are people who know your name. Well, if they know your name, they don't really need a search engine to find you. All right? To get Google to put you in the top of the search, what you have to do is you have to create content, right? You have one of the greatest content creators in the friggin' history of inbound marketing speaking here right after me tonight. Marcus Sheridan is infamous for taking that personality and taking it and putting it in pools and then taking it and putting it in the inbound revolution. It is really kind of remarkable. It's very authentic. He's going to tell you what he did to start creating this content. He blogs a lot. Anybody ever read Marcus's blog? Okay. And that blogging, right? People familiar with blogging? People read blogs? People like blogs? You like blogs? Yeah, good. Why do you like blogs? Yeah, it's short, to the point, and if they got the right title, videos and things like that, you can get information very, very quickly. You can store them, all that kind of stuff. All right, so inbound marketing is, first of all, creating content, posting it on your website, either in offers or blogs, so that more people can find you. That attracts inbound links. Do people know inbound links? Right? Inbound links are the currency of the internet. People will link to your blog before they'll link to your commercial site. So those inbound links and the blogging is very important, right? You're going to track keywords. How many keywords do people track? I got 10 minutes? Oh my goodness. All right. I knew this was going to happen. I'm slide 6. All right. So you have to track at least several hundred keywords, right? And they got to be the right keywords. Long tail keywords. Marcus, you talk about long tail keywords in your presentation? All right, can you give me 2 minutes on long tail just so I can move to the next slide? Not now, but when you get up there, just explain a little bit what it is. Okay, and then you're going to take your blog, put it to social media, social networking, and social bookmarking. All right, what that will do is get people who don't know you exist to your website. That is super important. Does anybody not want that? Okay. Never get a hand on that one. Number 2, when they come to your website, what do you want them to do? Everybody has a contact us page, right? You're asking them to get married on the first date. Only 3% of the people who come to your website are ready to commit. Everybody else sniffing around. They're going, are you the right kind of company to work for? Are you the right company that has the right stuff for me? Am I too big, too small? Do you work for a Utah company or will you handle somebody in Provo? Can you move quickly? And all of that information should be on your blog and in offers all over the place, right? The key to inbound marketing is when people come to your website, you have to have lots of places where they can drop their contact information. That moves from a visitor to a lead, right? There are calls to action, talk with a salesperson, download a free ebook, all those kind of things. Those calls to action should be conjoined with a landing page, right? And what practicing inbound marketing will typically give you a huge increase in the number of people who drop their contact information. That's lead generation. In all my 7 years, I've never seen a senior management team say, no, I don't want to get found before my competitors. And number 2, I don't want more leads. And practicing inbound marketing, practicing content marketing will get you a ton more leads. I got the data and the facts and I can share it to you. You go to www.hubspot.com/ROI and you can see it. All right, once people become leads, here's the thing. They're not all ready to buy. They don't want to talk to Lance right away. Some of them just want to understand they're remodeling their bathroom for next year. They're trying to determine if they want to hire a new job. They want to understand what the upcoming events are. So those people can't talk to a salesperson yet. What they have to do is they have to be nurtured, right? So then you have to take those leads and you have to put them in CRM so that the salespeople can use them. You have to email those people and you have to nurture those leads. That make sense? right? That is hugely important. Marketers do that. When I talk to a lot of these old line salespeople, old line sales executives, they say, I want to call every lead. You don't want to call every lead. You only want to call people who want to talk to the bottom of the funnel lead. And you can set up certain workflows so that people will go into the right drip campaigns so you get the right results. When they become customers, you don't want to send them the same information, right? There's something called smart content where if you're a customer, you're going to see different information than somebody's a prospect. You're going to see different information than somebody's an opportunity, right? And that allows you to market for cross-selling, upselling, and making sure the right people get the right information at the right time. All right, any questions on the inbound methodology slide? Make sense? No? Yes? Yes? People like that? Marketers should love this. Marketing is no longer stories and pictures, right? It's data and facts, right? If you got the analysis, right, you win. You hyper-target, personalization, customization, your websites, your emails, your lead nurturing kind of stuff, and we know it works. Whether you use HubSpot or not, we know inbound marketing works. That's the way you want to be marketed to. That's the way we want marketers to do it. We're trying to change the way people work. So I ask CEOs, I tell CEOs, this is if you want to practice inbound marketing, what you do is you go back to your office. Right, if you have more than 10 salespeople, you fire your 2 least performing salespeople, give all the money to marketing. All right? It used to be that marketing was always in the doghouse, right? They either didn't create enough leads or they created too many leads of low value and the salesperson did 95% of the stuff. That's not the way it works anymore. You guys just told me it's from 57 to 95% of the sales process is in marketing. Those 2 sales guys aren't going to make it anyway, right? You might as well take that dough and put it into content marketing so that you can hire somebody who can create world-class content. I tell marketers, if your company is not practicing inbound marketing, then quit. Go to find somebody who does, because this is the cutting edge, right? You're hearing from somebody who's done it for 5 years, right? Tonight it's going to be really exciting because we know it works. We have the data and the fact. And I tell salespeople, if you're not getting inbound leads, if you're cold calling Cassie, quit, okay? There is a better way, right? Is your boss in? He's going to thank God. All right, that would have been a huge faux pas for me. But it's no fun. It's no fun for you. It's no fun for your customers. You know what inbound leads is? You pick up the phone, you talk to people like you, right? People like in this thing who are just want to talk with you. They're going, oh, yeah, I know HubSpot. Oh, yeah, we've downloaded all your stuff, for crying out loud. And then when I finally talk with somebody who's interested in buying, they're going, no, you don't have to tell me about HubSpot. You need to tell me, show me this particular tool. Tell me how this works, right? When John and Danielle are like that, they're going, I don't need to know all that stuff. I've been following your blog for 3 years. All right, any questions on inbound marketing? All right, Mark, is that a good tee up for you? All right, here's the data and the facts. Write this down and take a picture of this. There are at least 500 pieces of information that your senior executives want to see, right? It supports everything you're going to learn tonight, right? Selling is no longer about kind of relationships. It's all about data and facts, right? It's also about helping, right? And providing these statistics are very good. I invented the word schmarketing. It's not sales, it's not marketing. Inbound leads are the greatest thing that happened to sale. If you don't know and following your prospects on Twitter, if you're not seeing what's going on LinkedIn, all right, I'm almost done, then you're not realizing all of the potential for selling in the 21st century. It's a great time to sell, right? I know when all my prospects are back on the website. I know when they open the email. There's a free tool, write this down, go to the website, Get Sidekick. Anybody use Sidekick? Okay, yeah, very nice. Get Sidekick. It's free. We give it to you free, and you'll know when people open your emails, up to 200 notifications. Then there's a $10 a month version that will help you and put information directly into Salesforce.com. It's tremendous. All right, this is inbound marketing. This is the details that I don't have time tonight. I'm going to be around till the last person leaves, unless Ryan gets into the single malt liquor, in which case I'm going to be like still here late. But all of these specific things are part of the process of inbound marketing. You'll get the slides and you'll walk through what each one is, right? And we'll show the power of each one. Analyze, analyze, analyze. There's 160 case studies. This transcends just HubSpot on the HubSpot case study page. This is a company of 2 people. It's now 12 people, went over $1 million this year. Eric Dorsal. It's happy to talk to any of you to determine if inbound really works. This is a larger company, ShoreTel, that moved from marketing automation over to inbound marketing. And top 5 trends. Inbound sales, the impact inbound has on sales, Lance, is as big as it has on marketing. It is amazing. Number 2, the concept of smart content. Ask me about that at the break, and I'll tell you about that. ROI and attribution reporting, right? That is extremely important. For the first time ever, marketers have an opportunity to have a seat at the table. You can sit down and you can point exactly where your best campaigns from, exactly where the money went, exactly how many new customers came from your email marketing, from your trade shows, from your pay-per-click, from your organic search, from your marketing campaigns. That's huge, baby. Mass media joins the revolution. We don't have time to talk about that, but it's exciting. And here's the greatest news. You guys are going to make a ton of dough, right? Marketers are in high demand. Right? The reason why developers' salaries went through the roof in the last 10 years is because they could write code and it leveraged. All right? You guys are going to do the same thing. You're going to develop a great ebook. Right? You're going to break it up into 10 blog articles. You're going to break it up into 3 podcasts. You're going to interview and do a YouTube campaign. You're going to do a Q&A. Right? All that is basically the same content. My belief, right? You can ask Marcus, but my belief is you need one great piece of content per quarter. Right? And if it's really good, right, people will be a path to your door. And that means you guys are going to be in very high demand. All right, there's a couple of potholes. You got to get senior level guys available. I don't have time for questions, but I'll be around all day. I have a small ask, right? If you like this meetup, this is a very nice crowd, right? And this is, I don't know, 130 people here or something like that. Just tell a friend. Right? You just tell a friend. And thank Doc. Doc, let's give Doc a round of applause. Boo! Nice. Ryan, part of those claps was for you. I do a separate one, but I don't have time. All right? And the small ask is just let people know. Sign up as a member. Right? They run really quality stuff in Utah, and hopefully I'll be back. If you'll give me a full hour, I'd be happy to. Maybe Marcus will open for me. I don't know. Right? I'm a fist pumper. Right? A fist pounder, a fist bumper. What do you call that? I don't really know what you call it, but right. So that's just the way I roll. And you ready, Marcus? Can I give you the big build-up? Are you going to introduce Marcus? Can I introduce the sales lion?
You do it.
All right, man.
And you will be here for Q&A after.
All right.
Yeah, we'll have a Q&A after, so
All right, that's
we'll
cool.
do that.
That's cool. He's the main event, man. And I'm thrilled, right? I've met Marcus. We usually speak in the same conferences, and he's a rock star. He's a guy who's so authentic, right, that he did it. Lots of people talk about it. He did it. And then he's bringing it to thousands of people, and I'm thrilled to be on the same stage, right? Can you go to his website? Just go to his website. I use his website all the time. Get it on your iPhones, River Pools and Spas. Get it right now. Right? And you bring it up on the thing. I use his website all the time because this guy practices inbound marketing. Can you pull it up? All right. Who has it on there? River Pools and Spas. All right? And it's seminal for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's not the most beautiful website in the world. Right? It's kind of functional. It's pretty good. But what I love is those calls to action and landing page. Click on that download free thing, Fiberglass Pool Kit. Boom, there's a nice little form. Go back to the other one. Click on the second one. Boom, there's a nice little form, right? This is not wild graphics, things like that. Boom, right there. But you know what's really cool about this? Okay, just scroll down because Marcus is nice enough to put all of his customers in Richmond for good. Do you want to compete with Marcus for installing pools, in-ground pools in Richmond? No, you do not. All right? That is super cool. That is inbound marketing in action. All right? And let's put our hands together for Marcus Sheridan this afternoon. Very good. Woo.
Oh,
All right,
man.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Dan.
Stage
Very
is yours.
good, my friend.
Living proof that even at 56, we can have ADD. That is awesome, brother. Love that guy. Love that guy. I'm going to use a handheld. Last time I was here, I was using one of those Spock Enterprise offerings that they have, and it just didn't fit my style very well, because I like to move. It kept hitting me. So I'm going to use this. We're going to have a good time talking tonight, as we did last time. Now, do me a favor. Raise your hand if you were here 3 weeks ago when I spoke. Raise your hand, just so I know. Just so I know. Okay, good. Now, about 30 to 40% of this is going to be somewhat of a repeat. The other 70% is going to be new. If you hear something you've heard before, let's say if it's a joke, I need you to laugh again. Will you do that for me? Okay, good, brother. Good. Okay, so we're going to talk about companies tonight that are just changing the game in this digital space. And I have an intimate relationship with all these companies, and so that's why I'm able to show you some of these stats that I have a unique relationship with most of my clients. And that is, if you work with me, I have to be able to share your story. So I believe in open source. And I find in the marketing space too often that what happens is one company does something amazing and they don't want to share it with anybody else. I really don't like that. And so I have made a deal with all my clients that if you work with me, we have to be able to talk about what you do, which that might actually turn off some companies, but I think this is where we're headed. And that's how I roll. And it's changed for me, everything. And of course, for a lot of our clients, it's changed the same thing. So quick story about me, because I could literally, last time I talked a lot about the pool thing, but real quick, I started a swimming pool company in 2001. It's called River Pools. And things were going okay up until about 2008 when the market crashed. In 2008 and 2009, we were in huge trouble. By 2009, at the beginning, January of that year, I went through 3 straight weeks where we were overdrawn in our bank account. I had 15 employees at the time. They were sitting home, and every single business consultant that I talked to said, Marcus, you need to close the doors, okay? And so I was left with a choice. I could either close the doors or I could go forward. But I didn't have a plan B because if I did close the doors, I was going to lose my home, my 2 business partners were going to lose their home, and my employees weren't going to be able to feed their families. So if any of you right now are struggling with your business, I want you to know I've been there. And I want you to know that there's a reason why I'm so passionate about the things that I'm going to talk to you about this evening, because it's literally had a monumental impact on my personal life, okay? All right? So River Pools embraced this inbound, this content marketing philosophy, and today it's the most trafficked swimming pool website in the world. We get about 350,000 visitors a month, and it is outrageously successful. And now we're becoming a national manufacturer as well. I don't tell you that to brag, that's just the whole story, and it's in about 2 minutes. That's where we are today, and it's because of things that I'm getting ready to show you. All right, so tonight, though, I'm really focusing less on strategy, more on culture, and more on what I'm seeing with companies that are crushing it versus the ones that are struggling, because there is a really, really big difference. Had the pleasure recently of being interviewed by Costco magazine. Do you have Costco in Utah? Do you have Costco? Well, they have a really big magazine for small businesses, and it goes out to about 1 million small businesses. One of their reporters called me up recently, and he asked me this question, and it left me really, really thinking. He said, Marcus, be honest with me, were businesses oversold on all this social media and content marketing hype? I remember you. So my question for you is, why did he ask that question? Why did he ask that? He thinks it's hype, Dennis. Why does he think it's hype?
Well, there's his question. He's got a preconceived notion. He's setting you up to validate him. He probably sees that stuff not working very well for him.
Okay, so he's seeing it. Good, I'll take that, Dennis. What else? Yes. It is Joe.
ROI. Show me the ROI.
Show me the money, the magical ROI that we love to talk about all day long, right? Show me the ROI, which, by the way, goes back to why you should be using a tool, because if you think you're going to measure ROI and you're just using Google Analytics, you're sorely mistaken. I mean, seriously. If you think you are going to put a $ next to your marketing efforts and you're just using Google Analytics, you're wrong. You can't do it. Now, if you use Google Analytics plus a measurement tool and you really pay attention, then you can start to justify your value within that company. Because the reality is this, most of you are marketers and most of you are underpaid. And the reason why you're underpaid, and this is hard to swallow, is because you do a poor job showing your value. But if you show the company that you made them $1 million last year, all of a sudden, you've got this magical thing in life that we call leverage. And I want you to have leverage. You need to use the tools. I don't care if it's HubSpot. I don't care if it's Marketo. I don't care what it is, but you got to use something, okay? So this, though, is a representation of a bigger problem because there's a lot of companies talking about this very thing. Now, over the years, in the last 4 or 5 years, I've been talking about this prolifically. And there's another question, another email that I get all the time, and it's from a lot of people just like you. So somebody that's either in marketing or somebody that works for an agency, because there's a lot of frustration out there right now, and this is what it sounds like. So Marcus, I just can't get management to see the potential in this. Getting buy-in has been impossible. That magical word buy-in, which is the bane of so many marketers' existence. So what's happening right now is there are a lot of people that know that there is a better way than the cold call, right? But when you try to pitch that to management, when you try to pitch that to ownership, they just don't catch the vision. And so you're left floundering around and you're frustrated as heck. I'm not saying you are. Oh, I am. Yes. Oh, I am. Oh, yeah, a lot of tension. There's aggression in this room. I love it. I love it. So yes. So buy-in is a big issue. Why do you think buy-in is such a big problem? Anybody? Come on, help me out. Why are we struggling so much to get buy-in, especially from management in this space? They don't see the ROI. Keep going. Why else? I like it a lot. That was definitely the right answer, but why else? Come on. You're an agency. You see this all the time. Tell me why. They don't like change. That's really good, Mason. They don't like change because they've been doing it a particular way for a long time. And if they don't see how they themselves are discovering new information and buying products today, they'll never see what you're trying to tell them. Very good. There was another one that I just heard. They don't understand. You know what? Has anybody ever heard the phrase, I don't have the time to do this? I don't have the time to do content marketing? That is a total farce. It is not true. Every single person in this room has the time. When we as human beings say we don't have the time, essentially what we are actually saying is that thing you just said is not important to me. I don't value that thing. Because as humans, magically, we find the time to do that which we value. And if we don't value it, we just say, I didn't have the time. That's how we think. That's how we think. So if you're in an agency, and many of you are, and if you ever from a client hear, we don't have the time, you've done a poor job as an agency explaining the value of the thing. You have. Because guess what? I've gotten that before, and I've done a poor job with my communication. Folks, I'm here to tell you that we've been talking about this stuff the wrong way. I firmly believe this. I believe in the power of words. I believe in the power of communication. And unless we start to change, especially as marketeers, the way that we're talking about this thing, you're going to continue to struggle. You're going to struggle, and you're going to have issues with buy-in. Okay, so this is what happens oftentimes. People will come to a conference or a meeting like this. They'll get excited from some pool guy that was talking about blogging. They'll go back to management, and they'll say, I really think we should be blogging. Or they'll talk to their salespeople, and they say, I really think we should be blogging. And of course, what does management and sales say? I don't have the time. That's exactly right. I don't have the time. Or that's nice, but what was your name again? Alan, that's nice. You're in marketing, okay? But you see, I'm in sales, and that's not what I do, right? So you can blog, and I'll go sell things, right? And they don't get it. They don't get it because you are using stupid words like blog. If I could go back in time, yes, if I could go, and trust me, nobody in this room has written the stupid word blog or content marketing or any of those fancy schmancies on their website than me. And it's bad. And it's bad because nobody in the world has ever formed a relationship with the word blog. It's never happened. And it doesn't get a CEO excited. I have never seen a CEO wake up in the morning and say, I want to blog today. It just doesn't really happen for some reason. And unless you change this conversation, you're going to continue to have problems. So what if you went to the CEO instead of saying, I think we should be blogging? And I'm serious about this question. Totally serious. If you went to a CEO today and you said to this person, when prospects visit our website, do you think we help solve their problems better than anyone else in the world? If you said that to a CEO, what do you think the response would be? Anybody? So you're going to have different responses. But I can tell you one thing. For the first time, that person, him or her, they're going to start to think differently. Because if you break it down, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about, if you really want to break down the essence of content marketing, we're talking about, can you solve people's problems better than anybody else in the world? Because if you can, you're going to engender their trust. They're going to love you, and they're going to buy from you. And they're not going to get 100 quotes. They're not going to beat your price down, and your margins are going to be higher than anybody else in your industry, exactly like they are at River Pools. Exactly like they are. We have the highest closing rate in the entire swimming pool industry, and I can measure it because I teach at all these silly events for the pool industry as well. We have the highest closing rate by far, and we're always $10,000 higher than our next competitor. How's it possible? Because our people tend to get one quote. Because they love us. Because they love us. And that's the power behind information. So, I ask you this. what would happen if we as marketeers, all of us that are in marketing, what would happen if we never use these words again? So let's say just hypothetically it was a different world and you couldn't use the phrase inbound marketing, social media marketing, content marketing, or blogging. Let's say you couldn't use that phrase ever again. If you couldn't use that phrase ever again, what would you then say that you do? And how would you pitch this to somebody? How would you do it? I build relationships. Sonny, I love that. I think that's great. Keep going. What else do you do? That thing that we do, what are we doing? Educate consumers. I love that, bro. Education. You are educating. And you know what's interesting? There are some companies out there that actually see themselves first primarily as teachers. Those companies, they're crushing it with content marketing. Those are the ones that are crushing it. They see themselves as a teacher. Good. That was good. Anything else? What else? What's that? Solutions focus. That's good, Jesse. Solving problems. The trust agents. Love it. Love it. Keep going. Yes. Adding value to the web. But the web isn't, like you can't hug the web, right? You know what I'm saying? You can hug a person, but you can't hug the web. So it goes way beyond the web, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Good. If, in my opinion, if you want to break it out and if you want to be really successful with this stuff, it comes down to 4 words. Listening, communicating, teaching, helping. Now, before you just say, that sounds cheesy, do not underestimate the value of this. Because my question for you is, do you listen to your prospects and your customers better than anybody else in the world? Do you hear their fears, their worries, their issues, their concerns, their problems, and do you address them? Do you communicate with them in a way that they understand it or the way that you think it? Because there's a very, very big difference between the way you say what you do and between the way they say the problems they have. It's a huge difference. And the ones that never can communicate like the prospect, they're no good at content marketing. They're no good at SEO either, by the way, because today, folks, great content marketing is SEO. That's what it is. And the greatest SEO agencies in the world today, they're the ones that are doing content marketing because you can't separate the two. Now they run together, and they should run together. They should have ran together 7 years ago, but we were trying to game the system. Now, every single shift that Google has made, they've made it in an effort so that you are a better teacher. Because their obsession is that you don't use Bing. And the only reason why you would use Bing is if they give you a better answer to the question, whatever the question was. They want to give the best answer. Sure, it's not a perfect algorithm, but it's getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better all the time. And the ones that are benefiting from it, they're the listeners, they're the communicators, they're the teachers, and they're the ones that are solving the problems. I would challenge you to see it this way. And from now on, as you look at this with your company, do not see what you do as content marketing. Don't see it as inbound marketing. Sure, that's nice. And we have our fancy words. But when you talk about it with sales, when you talk about it with management, see it differently. Talk about helping. Talk about solving problems. Talk about all those things that you were mentioning to me. You're going to be more successful. Okay, so I want to talk about these 5 qualities. I would say that I obsess a little bit about observing companies and what causes them to succeed and what causes them to fail. And so what I'm about to show you, I didn't know 4 years ago. I didn't know. And I imagine that if I teach this again in 2 or 3 years, it's going to be a different type of list. Some of these are going to be on here, and some of them are going to evolve into something else. But if you do what I'm getting ready to show you, you could do dramatic things in your industry. You could do dramatic things with your clients. Because these companies I'm going to show you are crushing it. And every single one of them I'm about to show you is making millions of additional dollars in revenue because of their strategy. And I want to talk about money tonight because if we don't talk about money, we don't sell the C-suite, we don't sell management. And by the way, everything I'm getting ready to show you is as much for the small businesses as it is for the big ones. So don't rule yourself out because it absolutely applies to you, whether you're an army of one or an army of many. So the first one, this goes back to what Dan said, and 0 moment of truth. Now, I talked about this a little bit before, but this is too profound not to re-talk or rehash what Dan said because this is changing the whole game, and I'm so very passionate about this number. 0 moment of truth, right? So many of you have heard 0 moment of truth. We're going to define it again real quick. We talked about it last time, but 0 moment of truth is the first time somebody contacts you. It's the first time they call you, or it's the first time they fill out a form on your website. It's the first time they walk into your retail store. It's the first time they say, essentially, I want to talk with you. That is 0 moment of truth, okay? So what's the relationship between 0 moment of truth and 70%? Anybody? Anybody that wasn't here? The amount of research done before that moment, it's really close. What's your name, bro? Chris. All right, you're on the right track. All right, anybody else? Relationship between 70% and 0 moment of truth. Come on, push yourselves. 70% are sure they want what you have. You are really, really close. This is what we know. And this is the number that is changing the whole game. And this is the number that the Google lords have told us. And of course, Google is never wrong. Are they, Seth? Right? Never. So we know that 70% of the buying decision is made before 0 moment of truth. 70% of the buying decision is made before they call you, before they fill out the form, before they contact you, before they walk into your retail store, before they walk into your office. And so if that number is true, what's it mean for your business? What's your name? Nathan. What's it mean for your business, bro? You better be there before you realize they're there, right? I'll take that. Good. Keep going. What's it mean for your business? Come on. Yeah, Drew. They've done 70% of the work. Now, hopefully that work that they've done doesn't reflect poorly on you, right? Good. Keep going. What's it mean for your business? Come on, what's it mean? You better be part of that 70% because if you're not, you ain't gonna get them. That 70% is profound. Now, what do you think that number was, let's say 15 years ago? 15 years ago, what percentage of the buying decision was probably made before 0 moment of truth? I would say 10 was good, 5%. I would say that's probably about right. Probably about right. So we know that on average, it's 70%. Now for you, right now, it might be 50, might be 80. But what do you think it's gonna be in 5 years? What it's gonna be in 10 years? Now, a couple more questions about this number that's so very dramatic. And I had to focus on this because you've got to be prepared for what's getting ready to happen to your business. I want you to be prepared. I don't want you to be the next Kmart of your space. That sucks. That's no fun. Trust me. They're not enjoying themselves right now. Okay, so if we're being honest with ourselves, which department of the company has more impact on the sales process? Is it marketing or sales? Marketing. But generally speaking, when a company is in trouble, who's the first ones to get laid off? Which department? Marketing. Isn't that sweet? And generally speaking, when a company is looking to grow, the first ones to get hired are sales. So what's the problem? What's the stinking problem, y'all? We're totally backwards because we have not adjusted to what is actually happening. Now, here's something to chew on. I'm going to tell you two things, and they're almost sacrilegious. And I wish we were in a sales conference so all the salespeople like, what was his name, Lance? My man, you're looking good tonight. I mean, I can tell you're in sales. You're very handsome. You have a great blue, and you got the West Virginia colors. I went to WVU. Praise you, sir. Okay, so you're looking good. So here's what the reality is. Two realities. Within the next 10 years, marketers are going to make way more than those that are in sales. Dan mentioned it. They're going to make way more. That's number one. Sorry, John Smith. Okay, number two. Oh, man. I don't even remember number two. Because I was thinking about John, who is a childhood friend, and he surprised me by being here tonight. And I was so fired up to see you. And it's going to come back to me. But it's just totally, it was like John's here. That's like a childhood friend. He totally surprised me tonight. Okay, that's magical. That's magical. Okay, so there's 70%. What was I saying anyway? Doesn't really matter. We're just here to have fun and eat turkey. Yeah, so marketing is going to make more than sales. Oh, yes, I remember now. It always comes back. So, anything right now, pretend this is a really deep statement, I didn't forget it. So anything right now that you think has to be sold face-to-face, eventually it's going to be sold online. So let me give you an example. In the swimming pool industry, this is how it works. You call pool guy up. Pool guy says, I'd love to come give you a quote because he is not busy enough. So he comes and gives you a quote. You also get 2 or 3 other quotes. And eventually you get back to the pool guy that you want to use in about 2 or 3 weeks. Last year, my company sold 95 fiberglass swimming pools. That was more than any swimming pool company for fiberglass pools in the United States. Of those 95, of those 95, 80 of them were sold before we stepped into the home. How's that possible? Anybody? Because if you were pool guys and gals, if you were pool guys, you would all say, no, you can't do that, you're lying. You'd all accuse me of lying. How is it possible that we sold 80, on average, $50,000 swimming pools last year without ever stepping into the home? How is it possible? We control the 70, yes, and the 70% love us. Very, very good. Keep going. How is it possible? Come on. Because we have an awesome website. Yes, Dennis, but go deeper than that because that's like the core of what we're really saying. Because they trust us and we are the ultimate trust agents of the industry. You have no idea how much trust you can engender. Because, people say all the time, oh, Marcus, you're saying my business is going to turn into a commodity. No, I'm not saying that. And by the way, if somebody goes online right now and sees me on YouTube and has never heard of me, but they need a speaker, and they watch, let's say, 10 of my videos, which happens all the time, and they call and they say, we want to use you, and I just give them a fee, and they say yes. Was that a face-to-face transaction, yes or no? Now, by the way, they've watched a couple hours of me on video. Was that a face-to-face transaction, yes or no? Now, you're debating, aren't you? Because the reality is, for them, was it a face-to-face transaction? Yes. For me, was it a face-to-face? No. And who does it matter for? For the consumer. And that's how the game has changed. Because what we define as face-to-face marketing today is not how we will define it tomorrow. In the moment you embrace that reality, cool things are going to happen. So this is where we're headed. You will eventually buy homes where you will not go and meet with the contractor. It will be done online. I don't know how it's going to happen, but somebody's going to do it. They might be doing it right now. Right now. This is where we are. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's scary at the same time. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just called reality. It's called reality. Okay, so they've got to understand that, and if they do understand that, they can prepare themselves for what is getting ready to happen. So number 2, oh, by the way, I love this slide. I forgot about this slide. This is great. Do you remember back in the day, I saw this, I was like, this is the greatest slide ever. So you tell me, would you want to have his job right now? Would you want to have his job? His job used to be really good. It used to be really good. You used to get paid a lot of money as somebody that sold shoes. So you women kind of change this up because most of you all now, you don't try the shoes on before you buy them. Do you? Because where are you shopping today? Zappos. Yes, you are. And Zappos eliminated his job. He's not so happy anymore. I wouldn't want to be that guy anymore because you're not trying on your shoes anymore. You're not trying a lot of things. That's how come CarMax can sell thousands of cars a week without people even test driving them. Online, sight essentially unseen. It's an amazing, amazing time. Okay, so the second one, management and employee buying. I have worked with a lot of companies. If the leadership and the employees do not embrace this idea of we're all teachers, we're going to produce this content, we're going to do these videos, we're going to write these articles, it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. If you don't have visionary management and they're not buying in, if you have resistance, this will fail. That's my personal promise. When a company calls me up and they say, Marcus, we want to work with your agency, my first question is, so how does management feel about this? If they say management's not bought in, I say, I'm not the best fit for you because I am not here to be a missionary. Because the reality is you cannot get somebody that doesn't want to embrace the future. And that's why there's so many frustrated marketers out there because they can't get that buy-in either. So you've got to have it if you want to be successful. Whether you're working for somebody, whether you've got an agency, you've got to have this idea of buy-in. So let me tell you about this. This is one of my clients. This company's called Segway Technologies. What they do is app development. They develop applications in the B2B space and also the B2G space. You know what B2G means? B2G? We actually say that in Virginia. Business to government, yes. I hate acronyms, by the way. I wish we could eliminate all of them because the reality is we're all P to P, right? We're all people to people, but people like to consider themselves special, and so we'll just roll with it. So So this is Segway Technologies, and there's something really interesting about Segway Technologies. Now, Ron came to me, their CEO, Ron Novak, came to me, and he said, we want to embrace this idea of we're the best teachers in our space. We want to be the Wikipedia. And I asked him a series of questions to qualify him, because it wasn't the other way around. That's the beauty of inbound. I qualify my leads, they don't qualify me. That's the idea, right? And so, in this case, something very interesting happened. He said, all right, I get what you're saying, Marcus. And so what we're going to do on every single job description from this point forward is that if you work with Segway Technologies, you're in marketing. 100% of their employees, and they have about 120, 100% of their employees are in the marketing department. This is also why there's no resistance, because what they do is what I'm getting ready to show you. What I so firmly believe in is they leverage the power of insourcing. In other words, they use their employees to produce the content. That's how we do it. That's how we do it with all of our clients. We don't outsource. I'm not a fan of outsourcing because ultimately the best outsourcers are just insourcing it anyway because they're interviewing the people on staff, right? And so he said, you're now in marketing. In fact, if you get a raise or not will be based on your participation with marketing. So what was the result of Ron? Which, once again, it's not a sexy industry. It's a technique, nerdy. Everybody says it's not going to work in his industry. This is when we started last year, January 2013. You see where they are today. So they essentially went from 2,000 visitors a month to 60,000 is where we topped off last month. And this is a direct quote from Ron. Since starting this just over 18 months ago, we can account for at least $4 million in additional revenue because of our content marketing efforts. Folks, that's called ROI. Now, do you think those people in marketing are underpaid? They're not underpaid. They're getting paid like salespeople because they are bringing it in. They are bringing home the bacon. I need you to think like that. You need to think like that. This is possible when all of your people embrace a single culture. I keep seeing this over and over again. Your analytics folks should look like that. People used to tell me, this is what you did, Marcus, it's just for pools. No, this is a completely different industry. And you're going to look at some other industries here in a second. Now, we'll talk about pools again here because I love using this example. Too many people, when it comes to the strategy of great content marketing, they completely overanalyze it. They go through they will spend 3 years identifying personas and they won't get jack done. It drives me crazy. It literally, and half the time, you really don't know who your persona is until you start this mess. And if you really look at what personas is about being obsessed with listening to your prospects and understanding everything they're thinking, saying, and feeling in that moment of pain. That's what personas is. We call it a fancy name. That's fine. That's fine. We got to have names. So let's talk about this. I mentioned this when I was here the other week, but I am telling you, this right here in your industry, and I don't care what industry you're in, this is the subject matter that moves the needle in every single industry in the world. And if you focus on this subject matter, you're going to totally turn the needle, just like you saw with Segway, just like River Pools, and just like you're going to see with some of these other incredible case studies. Because we have the exact same philosophy every single time. Our philosophy is based on the principle of they ask, you answer. If anybody has ever asked us a question, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, we are going to address it on our website. We don't use keyword tools because the greatest keyword tool in the world is those two things you have connected to your head. If you're actually listening, you are going to hear those beautiful phrases that people are asking you all day long. And if somebody's asked you the question, another 1,000 people have searched it online. That is the essence of long tail search right there. That's the essence of it. And so you've got to be willing to address those one by one on your site. And they all, if you really want to look at moving the needle, comes down to these 5 things here. Now, I'm just going to talk about one of them real quick. You heard me talk about this last time. So, if you heard me talk about this last time, just play along. Cool? Just play along. By a show of hands, how many of you have ever researched how much something cost online before? Raise your hand if you've ever done this. If you're not raising your hand, you're dead. You got dead people? People alive in the back, my friends? Yeah, my guy in the back is like, okay, bro, I'm alive. Yeah, I'm alive. Okay, good. So, So what was that? Did I hit a button or something? Anyway, we'll come back to that. Okay, so let's get back to the question. Very well done. Let's give her a round of applause, everybody. Yeah. Woo! Woo! That's a bad moment as a speaker. You're like, that's not a very good thing. So when you are searching online how much something costs, and you're on that website, and you can't find it, what is the emotion you experience? What's the emotion? Frustration. My man here said pissed off. Even stronger, even stronger. So these are strong phrases. Frustration, I always like to say, it's the F word of the internet. Well, so what gives you the right to feel frustrated in that moment? What gives you the right? Are you an impatient people? Are you impatient? The answer is yes, you are. Raise your hand if you've grown more impatient as you search for things online over the past couple of years. Everybody should be raising your hand. You have grown more impatient. So what gives you the right to feel frustrated in this moment right now? What gives you the right, sir? Mark, good name, even with a C, which makes you really stinking awesome. Okay, so, Mark, what gives you the right to feel frustrated in this moment? It's expectations. So, my question for you is, do you just, you can't find it, do you just, keep digging on the website? No, you don't, do you? You don't dig. He's like, dig? Come on, Marcus, get out of here, bro. Do you say, oh, that's okay. I'm going to call the company instead. I'll call them. Yeah. It's kind of funny. You actually used to call, you stopped doing that. You stopped doing that. So what do you do instead? What do? You move on. You move on to where? To the next site until you find it, because you know if you keep looking, eventually you will find it. So 100% of us have experienced this, correct? 100% of us, great. We all agree on this thing. If we don't agree on politics, we do agree on this, right? So here's the other question, and this is very serious. Very serious. I need you to all participate, even the ones that think I'm an idiot and are asleep. So by a show of hands, how many of you talk a lot about the cost and price of your services and product on your website right now? Raise your hand. Weird looks. Maybe the mic isn't working. So, by a show of hands, second opportunity, how many of you talk a lot about cost and price on your website right now? Go. Interesting. My friend in the back, my copywriter, you don't do it. You're good with words. Explain. We sell service clearly, yes. And when they're on your site, they're saying, of course she doesn't have it. She sells a service. Yes. Yeah, because you say that all the time as well. Right, good. Okay, just work with me. Okay, so what's the other reasons? Come on. Price. Price changes all the time, doesn't it? Yes. And I'm assuming you're not selling on price anyway, are you? You're one of those value-based shoppers and, companies, right? Value. We love using that. Because people all the time, especially when you search and you can't find anything on price, you're like, oh, it's all right. They're value-based business, right? Okay? Yes. Of course he says that. Now, some of you say, well, we can't do that, Marcus, because of what? Keep going. Come on. We're having fun with it. What's that? Oh, yeah. What's your name, brother? Yeah, you're the next victim. So, Matt, you can't possibly do this, right? Because if you put your pricing on your website, your competitors are going to know, and they're going to use it against you, right? Because clearly, Matt, your competitors right now have no idea what you charge, correct? I mean, they're totally clueless, right? Right, exactly. And the cool thing about this is you have no idea what they charge either. We're all totally ignorant of each other, right? But this is really weird, because I know you're joking, because they know how much your stuff costs, and you know how much their stuff costs, but you just told me 30 seconds ago, I don't want them to see my pricing, even though they already know my pricing. Doesn't that sound funny? It kind of does, yes. See, what you're having right now is called a civil war, right? Because you're realizing that you are treating people differently than you yourself want to be treated. And it doesn't feel right, does it? Isn't that interesting? And we all do it. Here's what's so phenomenal. Every one of you passionately said, I get frustrated, and my man in the front said, I get pissed off. These are strong words. And then you all said, but you see, Marcus, we're different. If you're being honest with yourselves, and we're all friends, that makes us what? Hypocrites. That's exactly right. Except in this case, we're digital hypocrites, which sounds even cooler, doesn't it? We're special, right? Like Big Mac sauce, right? Because nobody knows we're Thousand Island dressing, right? Good. So, question for you. How much does a fiberglass swimming pool cost? Yes, praise you. Yes, it does, doesn't it? So, the answer to how much a fiberglass pool costs is the exact same answer for every single one of you in here, whether you have a service, a product, a combination, it doesn't matter. The answer to the question is 2 words, and it is, say it with me, it depends. That's exactly right. And 5 years ago, how many swimming pool companies in the world, when we started this process of they ask you answer, had addressed the issue of cost and price on their website? How many had done it? The answer is 0. And why hadn't they done it? Well, yes, it does depend, because we're a value-based business, because they were scared of the competition, because they didn't want to scare the customers away. In other words, they're just like you. And so when we embrace this philosophy of they ask you answer, we said, okay, this is the first daggone article I'm going to put on this daggone website of river pools. How much does a fiberglass pool cost? And we said, you know what, buying a fiberglass pool, it's kind of like buying a car. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of accessories. Here's a list of all the options and accessories you might choose with your pool. But ultimately, the answer to your question is, it depends. But because we were willing to say it depends, what did our friend Google do? What did they do? That's right. They said, finally, somebody has addressed this stupid question that people keep typing in my little box all day long, right? And because of that, from a search perspective, even today, 5 stinking years later, if you go online right now on your little winky phone and you search for any of these phrases, even Marcus in Virginia is going to be the guy that you start reading, because we were not the ostrich with our head in the sand. Now, this is just visitors, right? That means nothing. I agree. It means nothing, because the purpose of this is not visitors. And this is where the beauty of advanced analytics comes in, because your Google Analytics ain't going to show you what I'm getting ready to show you right now. So, if you look at this list right here, here's the major keywords that drove the most traffic to the Riverpool site from March of 2009 to June of 2012. If we look at this, the ones in red are coming from that cost article. So, for example, 13,500 people were in Google. They typed in the phrase fiberglass pool prices. And of those 13,500, 30 of them filled out a form and said, I want a quote for a pool. Okay? Now, each one of these red ones are coming from that article. So here's my question to you. Do these 200 plus appointments occur if that article is not written? Yes or no? No. Why not? Because they never found us. They never fell in love. 0 moment of truth never happened, but it did happen. And we know the names of each one of these leads. And because we know the names, we also know which one's bought. And because we know which one's bought, we know the value of the lead. And we can track that value back to that one single article. And we know that this one single article, up until this point in time, has made us over $2.5 million in sales. That one single article, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, that one single article saved my company. One article saved my company. And we never even said how much a fiberglass pool costs. You see, you think you got to answer the question. What you got to be willing to do is address the thing. Be a part of the conversation. How much does a professional copywriter cost for technical services? That's the article that needs to be written. Now, I don't care if you put your rates or not. I just need you to write the article. Am I making sense? Because you can't be the ostrich and think you're going to engender my trust. $2.5 million, all because we were willing to be a part of the conversation. Okay, now this is one of my really successful clients. I'm trying to show you different ones, B2B, B2C, etc. So this is a business to consumer. They're called Yale Appliance. They're out of Boston. Now what they do is they sell kitchen appliances and they sell lighting, etc., etc. Now, their CEO came to me a few years ago and he said, Marcus, we're producing content and I'm blogging, but my traffic isn't growing. So I went back and I looked at all of his content and it was all wrong, because he wasn't focusing on what I care about as the consumer. He wasn't thinking like me. He was thinking like Steve, the appliance salesperson. Very flawed mentality. So let me show you what happened with Steve. Now, you're going to look at these and you're going to keep seeing the big 5 over and over again. Steve was an incredible protege of the system of the Big Five in addressing what consumers want. So let's look at specificity, long tail keywords, etc. So for example, he wrote an article that is really crushing it, the best induction cooktops of 2012, reviews and ratings. Now, you look at that right there, and you SEO should be like smiling away right now, because this, in and of itself, is magical. First of all, did he go after cooktops? He went after induction cooktops, because if you're looking for an induction cooktop, what are you going to search for? Induction cooktops. Specificity wins the day online, but he didn't try to target induction cooktops. He targeted the best induction cooktops, because that's exactly what consumers are looking for. Just like if you have a particular local business, let's say you're an auto mechanic, they're going to look for the best auto mechanics in Sandy, Utah. That's how people search. That's what they want to know, especially if they've never lived in Sandy before. They don't know these things, just like Dan was saying. And so if you look at all of these articles and the incredible amount of reads and, of course, inbound links to the nerdiest, nichiest types of content, this is the magic of the one that thinks just like the consumer and not like the business. Now, what was their result? Well, this was their blog traffic, their site traffic, before we really started this. We looked at their traffic, and I said, Steve, the first thing I need you to do is go back and change every single title for every single blog article you've ever done, because they're all wrong. That was the first thing he did. That was his first homework assignment. The second thing we did, we actually wrote about things that people care about when they're shopping, the things that they search. And today, he gets about 300,000 visitors a month. His revenue went from $45 to $55 million a year, and he knocked all of his outbound advertising to 0%. In other words, he spends no money today on radio, no money on print. $45 to $55 million a year, a $10 million gain, and he dropped his outbound. Now, I'm not saying that you should drop your outbound. I'm trying to give you a glimpse in this. Now, all of his salespeople are the ones that produce the content, which leads me to the next one. They utilize the power of insourcing. Insourcing is magical. Does anybody in here have salespeople on your staff? Raise your hand if you have salespeople on your staff. Okay? Come on. Give me, you raised your hand. Now, what is your name real quick? Jessica. Okay, what's your company? Blend Tech, is that correct? Okay, how many salespeople do you have? Wow, you have a big company, don't you? Okay, big company. So 100 people, 100 salespeople. On average, how many emails do your 100 salespeople send out a day, on average? Just take a guess. Obviously, you know a lot about your sales department, so just give me a number. 40 or 50 a day. Now, of those 40 or 50 emails, how many of them actually address a customer or prospect question, issue, concern, worry, etc.? Probably most of them. Let's just say 10 per. Okay, just 10. So tell me, that means if you have 100 salespeople and you have 10 emails per each day that is addressing a customer question, issue, concern, or worry, what you just told me in my mind is that basically you're writing about 1,000 blog articles a day. What would happen if you BCC'd the marketing department every time one of those emails went out? You'd get buried in email, but here's the deal. What does a marketer want? Does a marketer ever complain about, I have too much content from the salespeople? Do they say, I already know all the questions the prospects are asking? That's not what the marketer says. Marketer's biggest complaint is what? I don't have enough content. And we're writing and producing the content by 10x. And yet we sit there and we say we don't have enough content. It's amazing to me. Many of you right now have thrown away, and I'm just trying to crush your soul here. You've thrown away millions of dollars in content marketing over email in the past 2 years. By one simple click, we've had clients that have changed the whole game. One click. I'm not saying you should do that exact thing, but I'm telling you, I've seen it change. Unbelievable in terms of just the culture of content within a company. It's done amazing things. Now, Some of you heard me talk about Krista last time. Krista works with Block Imaging International. This is another one of my, I've had the luxury of working with amazing people. And Krista came to me about 3 years ago. And by the way, Block, what they do is refurbished medical imaging equipment. They'll take an old MRI machine that's been put out to pasture, they'll refurb it, and they'll sell it to a health organization that can't necessarily afford a new one. Okay, make sense? And so a new MRI, by the way, costs about $1.5 million. So you see how that would be unaffordable for many hospitals, especially in other countries. And so Krista came to me and she said, Marcus, I believe in this idea of let's be the best teacher in our space. I want to be the Wikipedia of refurbished MRIs. I want to be the Wikipedia of C-arms and all this other equipment that they sell. But the problem is I go to my sales department because they have all the questions and they have all the answers. And of course, they don't want to help me. So what I need you to do, Marcus, is I need you to come out to my company and I need you to convince all my salespeople that they want to help me. That was before I even had an agency. I was just starting to write about this stuff after being a pool guy. That question changed my life because that was the first time I ever went to a group of salespeople and had to really, truly explain to them the what, the how, and the why of content and how it could impact them directly, how their closing rates would change, how their sales processes would go down, how their margins would go up. And once they understood individually how producing content, be it text, video, audio, whatever, could impact their lives and their wallet, all of a sudden we had buy-in. Before that, they couldn't get it. And the next thing she knows, there were 65 people in that room. She was inundated in content. And since that time, over 45 of those 65 people have helped her produce text, video, etc. So what's the results for her? This was the day of the workshop right here in 2011. This was the day. You see where they were before that? And you see where they are today. They're about 40,000 visitors a month talking about used MRI machines. They are dominating the space. In a land of Goliath, they're a true digital David. They are crushing the competition, and it's all because they are using their staff to produce the content. And they're not trying to come up with some hard, difficult methodology to do this, because it doesn't have to be that hard. If you have 20 people on staff and they help you produce one piece of content a month, you have a new piece of content every single workday of the month, and that is magical. Now, she gave, I didn't put her quote up here, but she said, because of their content marketing efforts, because I want to show you ROI, because of their content marketing efforts, they've been able to track over $9 million in additional revenue in those 3 years. $9 million, okay? All right. One more. They have a dedicated content manager. I cannot stress this one enough, folks. If you want to be amazing with this, you will have and I stress the phrase dedicated. So for example, let's say a company wants to engage with us and they say, we want to do all this content marketing. My first question is, do we have a dedicated individual in the content space? And if they say, well, we've got Jenny over here, she can do about 5 hours a week. And we've got Jeff, he can do about 3 hours a week. And they start doing it like that, I say no. So over the last year, I think our company has hired probably 10 content managers for companies. Because we won't work with a company unless there is a chief organizer, a chief cheerleader, a chief teacher. There has to be somebody that is the leader on the staff and on the team. And they've got to be personable, they've got to be good, they've got to love social, they've got to love analytics, they've got to love the whole thing. But here's the interesting part about it. People say all the time, I can't afford a content manager. Never in the history of our country have we had more recent journalists, graduates that cannot get a job than we do right now. Think about it for a second. What can a recent journalist graduate do? They can write, they can edit, they can interview. They can usually do video, and they should be able to do video if they've gone to school recently. They should be able to cut. They should be able to edit video as well. There's a very good chance they've used most social media, and there's a very good chance they love social media. And one other really interesting thing about journalists, most of them coming out of college, what do they expect to make? Does anybody know? Yes, 25 grand. That's exactly right. 25 grand. The average journalist coming out of school makes less than $30,000 a year. This one single position, the first year, I don't care what your business is going to bring in, if they know what they're doing, if they're trained the right way, they're going to bring in 5, 10, 100x of what you pay them. $30,000 can change your whole life. And you stop saying, I just don't have the time. You know what? You should have somebody following you around. If you're the subject matter expert in your company, that person should follow you around and they should suck every bit of content out of you. If you're not a writer, I don't care. If you're not, it doesn't matter because today you have an answer. And they're waiting to work for you. They're dying to use their skills and their resources. You've got to have a dedicated content manager. So I want to finish off, and then we're going to take some questions. I want to finish off talking about a company that's a couple minutes down the road. It's one of the most successful clients that I've ever had, and this company is called Health Catalyst. Has anybody ever heard of Health Catalyst? Okay, they're here in Utah. All right, so Health Catalyst is an amazing company, and they're so niche-y and nerdy because basically what they do is they do healthcare data warehousing and analytics. Very nerdy. What they do is they sell to hospitals this health analytics service, and it's software, it's a bunch of different things. Their average deal is about $4 to $5 million, okay? And they're selling to a hospital. Their average sales cycle is about 18 months. Are you with me so far? So, here's what's so special about them, because they are the essence of every single thing I've shown you so far, and we've accomplished it in a very short period of time. So what Health Catalyst has done is they said, okay, what do we need? We need great leadership. Well, let me tell you about this guy that lives about 4 minutes away from here. His name is Paul Horstmeyer. He's one of the most visionary vice presidents of any company that I've ever seen because he totally is the essence of what every great person in the digital marketing space, every great leader should be because he actually cares. He's an amazing man, and he's completely involved in the editorial process. And so he and I have, and he's a VP, a senior VP of this company, he and I have reviewed every single blog article they have written and every single video they've done over the past year and a half. We've read it together because he cares. And he says, Marcus, we're going to do whatever it takes. I come out to Utah, we give his team a whole workshop, and we convince the team that they want to be a part of this amazing thing that's called teaching. And what's interesting about them is they're main content producers, they're subject matter experts, they're doctors and nurses. So you tell me, how many doctors and nurses have time to write blog articles? Of course, the answer is no, right? Somehow, magically, Health Catalyst has found the time because to them, they understand the value of the thing. So they've started this process, right? And we've also produced, and if you get a chance tonight, I need you to go to their site because it's magical. They produce what we call a knowledge or a learning center. So basically, you can go to their knowledge or learning center and you can consume all the content that we produce during this time in your preferred format. If you want videos, you got videos. If you want ebooks, you got ebooks. If you want case studies, you got case studies. If you want executive papers, you got them. Any way you could possibly want to consume content, they have made it readily available for you. And the power of this is a learning center. This is the future, not a blog section of your site. In fact, I would prefer that you take that stupid blog in your navigation bar and you throw it away and you create what's called a learning center because that's what your people really want. They want to go to school on that thing that you have. This is exactly why hospitals will spend hours and hours of time on their site. And I'm talking about major decision makers for major organizations all over this country and world. Now, what's their traffic been like? Well, that's where we started in August of 2013. So you can see we ain't been doing this very long. This is where we finished last month, okay? That's real traffic, real numbers. But what's the real magic of this company? So, ROI, right? Well, we had a couple major victories last year. The first major victory that we had, we got an additional $50 million in funding last year. It was a huge coup for us. Huge, huge, huge. The second thing that we did, and most of you, this won't mean anything to you, but if you've ever been around the health space, like John, you would appreciate this. Last year we signed Kaiser Permanente and Partners Health. I'm telling you what, those are the behemoths. If you are in this space, those are the two clients that everybody is after. And this little digital David did it underneath those small competitors they have called Oracle and IBM. Because those are the ones that they're competing with. And how is it possible that a digital David with way less money, way less resources has become the it brand in this entire health analytics industry? And it's because they made a philosophical shift, a change, and they said, we are the best teachers in the world. And if you have a question about healthcare analytics, we want you to come to us. We're going to be more transparent than anybody else. You know what? We talk about their competitors all day on their site. There is no industry that has as much red tape as the health space. And we talk about the competition all day on the site. Don't tell me it's not possible. It all takes a mentality, an attitude, a philosophy, a shift. Powerful, powerful company. So, One last question for you. And I have a serious question. I want you to answer me honestly, if you would. Why did you come here tonight? Anybody? Why? Yes, why'd you come? To learn, okay? All right, why'd you come here tonight? You heard there's going to be some turkey, right? Good, okay? Why'd you come? All right, I'm a networker, okay, good. Okay, why'd you come tonight? Yeah, you, bro. You heard Jay Bear, right? One of my best friends in the world. I love Jay. I'm so glad you heard Jay, okay? If you haven't read the book Utility, Y-O-U-Tility, you haven't read any book this year, okay? Let me tell you, I speak all over the world at this point. I don't say that to brag. I say this to make a point. I see all these conferences. People come to these things, and they say, well, I came to improve my business, came to get more traffic, whatever that thing is. This is so far beyond that. 5 years ago, I'm going to be very honest with you if I can, very candid for a second. 5 years ago, I was essentially in a depression. I was overdrawn in my business bank account. I was overdrawn on my personal account, and all my credit cards were maxed out. And at the time, what I did, my answer to improving my situation was work harder. And so I went from 65 hours a week to 75 hours a week. And this happened over the course of a couple of years. And of course, at the time, I had 4 kids at home. What that meant was I wasn't seeing my kids. I wasn't seeing my wife. My marriage wasn't great, and I was a crappy dad. And then we embraced this little philosophy of they ask, you answer. And we said we're going to be the best teachers in the world. And because we embraced that philosophy, just my entire life has changed. This year, just one example, that's my son. I have fished with my son more this year than I did in his previous 11 years. And so when you look at this thing that we call marketing, I need you to look a lot deeper than what you're looking at. What you do changes lives, potentially. It could change your life. It could bring you financial peace. You're here because of time. That's why you're here. You're not here for more traffic on your website. You're here to have more time to do that which you love. That might be with your family. That might be whatever that thing is for you. I don't care what that thing is, but that's why you came tonight. And so when you don't want to write that blog article, when you don't want to make that video, when you don't want to learn about how to do this thing, I want you to remember this is actually about your freedom because it can change everything. In my life, my marriage and my relationship with my kids has never been better, and I'm asking you to think a little bit deeper. Thank you very much. Real quick, that's my personal website. That's my personal email. It's got a 1 on it because that's mine. If you send it to Marcus at the sales line, that will go to my entire team. So it's not as personal. So if you have a personal question, please email me. Any question whatsoever if you want to contact me, okay? And that doesn't cost anything. So everything we talked about tonight, that took me 2 years to write. It's on my site and it doesn't cost you anything. All right? So, questions. Dan, you ready? Where are you, brother? Of course you're ready.
Come on up. All right, I'm going to switch you right here because we're going to actually walk the mics